Welcome to my summary of learning for ECMP 355 during the winter semester of 2017. We're just going to talk about what I learned throughout this class. Some of the key points I'm going to talk about are personal learning networks, blogging, Twitter, Chrome extensions, digital citizenship, digital identity, and the so many resources that I gained from this class. First of all, personal learning networks were a big part of this class. Personal learning network is an online global learning network where you are able to learn from people all over the globe. We can do this through YouTube, Twitter, Pinterest, blogs, anything where you can share resources and get resources or ideas from other people. During this class, we mainly used Twitter and our blogs and the Google Plus community to create that personal learning network. So here is a video of my personal learning networks. Alright, so on to blogging. One of the big things that I took away from this class was learning how to blog. Before going into this class, I had no idea how to blog. I had no idea how to create a blog. I had no idea what kinds of things that you would put in a blog. And I was extremely uncomfortable with creating one. During this class, we used a blog, and I got a little bit more comfortable with it. And we get to the point where I am today, where I still have a long way to go with using a blog and creating my identity on there. But baby steps, and I'm working towards that. So you can check out my blog at jessagolly.wordpress.com. So the next thing is Twitter. Twitter is a great place to expand your personal learning network. Prior to this class, I had used Twitter a number of years ago for personal use, not for professional use. During this semester, I definitely found that Twitter has so many great resources on it and so many great people to share resources with and to get resources from and to converse with and find different ideas. And I definitely found value in Twitter growing forward as a professional. So you can give me a follow at jmgully if you'd like, and you can follow my education career on that. So the next thing that I took away from this that I will forever be thankful for are Chrome extensions. So I learned what they were. Prior to this class, I used Safari. I didn't use Chrome, and I found many useful Chrome extensions that I will never stop using now because they are so useful to me. So a couple of my favorites are things like Mercury Reader, which just makes, when you're reading an article, makes it just the text, and it takes away all the outside stuff going on, so you can just easily read the article without having everything else going on. The Pinterest extension. I'm a big Pinterest user, so using Pinterest or using the Pinterest extension, I can simply just click that button and it'll save that page to whatever board I want to on my Pinterest, which is great. Speak It reads the articles to you, so you can have that audio piece if you need to listen to it. I love having someone read to me, so I find it really useful to have that sometimes when I need to get work done, but I'm zoning out because I'm tired or something. I find that really useful for me. An ad blocker. This one is something that I will miss if I ever have to get rid of it. It's great. I never have to watch an ad on YouTube, which is wonderful. And you also don't get like pop-ups or anything like that. The next thing that I took away from this class is extremely important to my teaching career and going forward as a teacher is digital citizenship and digital identity. Going into this class, I kind of had big questions that I had about digital citizenship and digital identity. in those same 4 questions, I came out of the class feeling like I could answer well. So the first one is, what is digital citizenship? And I discovered that digital citizenship is the act of just having an online presence and being a respectful and interactive member of that online community. I also learned that there are 9 elements to digital citizenship, and these come directly out of the document that outlines teaching digital citizenship in Saskatchewan. So the second question is, why is teaching digital citizenship important? And I think this one is extremely important because as we grow forward as a technologically advanced society, we are using the online world, and we're constantly involved with social media and being online. And I think it's important to create good digital citizenship, to create positive people being online and positive identities and positive citizens that contribute respectfully to these online spaces. Online spaces can have a huge impact on students, whether positive or negative, and we want those impacts and those experiences to be positive rather than negative. So we don't get people having experiences like cyberbullying and those kinds of things that would create negative experiences for our students. So teaching good citizenship can eliminate some of those negative experiences online, and I think that's extremely important. So the third question I had was, how can we teach digital citizenship in our classrooms? So we can begin to teach digital citizenship by first modeling appropriate online behavior through our spaces, so through our Twitter, our blogs, so that when we Google our names, they come up with positive things, and that we actually have a presence on there. And then we can move forward and say to our students, okay, now you need to create spaces online to create your digital identity. So we can have students create their own blogs. We can have them create their own Twitter. We can incorporate technology into and online spaces into our classrooms, so we can kind of monitor and guide their learning, and we can kind of correct or help guide towards better online behaviors in spaces online. And so within our social media, we can kind of create better citizens through that. The next question is, how can we create digital identities? So a digital identity is that identity that you have online. So when your name comes up on something, what is it coming up on? When you Google your name, what is coming up with it? So these can be created by the more things you post that are positive and that come from you, the more your name is going to be out there and the more positive you're going to look. So a positive online identity can begin by creating online spaces like your Twitter, like your blog, like we did here in ECMP. So the very last thing that I wanted to talk about were some of my favorite resources that I got from this class. We got many, and I can't begin to talk about them all, but here were some of the ones that I thought were super cool that I hope to use in my future classrooms. So some assessment resources that I thought would be super useful were Mentimeter. You could take some polls and have all that data come up right on the board like instantly, and almost every high school student has a cell phone or has access to some kind of internet, so you can get them on there and do that almost instantly. Plickers I thought was super cool, and I'd like to try that out in my classroom. I've never tried it, but I'd like to try it out. Quizlet, I've used myself, and it seems super cool. It's like flashcards, but they're online, so you can share them with your class. You can have your class play games. You can have them create their own sets of quizzes and those kinds of things. In Kahoot, I've used that in my previous experiences, and everyone loves Kahoot. I haven't had an experience where someone hated Kahoot. It's that competition kind of quiz that gets kids excited to kind of compete, and it's a good assessment resource or even study resource. So some other EdTech resources that I'd like to share are Seesaw, Google Classroom I'd like to play around with a little more, Flipgrid, Scratch, Zoom, and of course the Google Plus community that we shared everything on. So just to wrap up, I learned a lot about online digital citizenship and technology and how to meaningfully incorporate that into the classroom during this term. And so those are my big takeaways, are these few points that I touched on. Hope you enjoyed.